Okay, we have Director Weiner here. Let me start off with roll call.
Go right ahead.
Director Weiner.
Present.
Thank you. And Chair Alvarado.
I am here.
Thank you. Next item is public comments. We do not have any public comment for any items not on the agenda.
Okay, let's go on to the next item.
Next item, CIP update. Receive update on the Capital Improvement Program 10-year plan.
Okay.
Good morning. So we're going to present the updated 10-year capital plan. Susan, can you maybe share your screen and we'll get started?
Yes.
Just a little bit of background while Susan's opening that up. It's open pretty quick.
Michael, could I ask you to introduce Susan to everyone? I'm not sure if everyone knows Susan yet.
Absolutely. So Susan Pan is our Planning and Support Services Manager. She came into the agency, it's been almost 6 months now, huh, Susan? About 5 months ago. She's been a really good addition to the agency.
Thank you.
So today we'll present the 10-year updated 10-year capital plan. Can you go to the next slide, Susan? So here's our agenda for the meeting. We'll walk you through the 10-year plan by priority and by program, and I'll explain that to you in just 1 second. And we will then walk you through the 5-year CIP plan, and then we'll walk you through some individual capital improvement projects. So as we were developing out our 10-year plan, as you are aware, we had a very large capital plan that was approved in 2019. We ran into some setbacks in terms of recruitment and ability to deliver on that capital plan. So what we've done with this plan is we have flattened out some of the peaks that we had in our previous capital plan and made it a more consistent spend year to year. So what we've tried to do here is have a maximum of $10 to $12 million per year that we needed to deliver. That's a more reasonable goal for delivery for us, and it gives us the ability to deliver a better product as opposed to a larger volume of lower product projects. We still have a lot of projects to deliver and a lot of work that we need to do. And when Susan gets into her portion of the presentation, you'll see that there will be money in different colors. Some will be black, some will be red, and some will be green. The black money will be money that was already approved and allocated in previous capital plans. The red money will be new money that is needed, and the green money will be projects that were approved by this board in theory, but no money was allocated to it. So now we're asking for the money to be allocated. So with that, we can go on to the next slide. But one thing that I would like to maybe get a little bit of direction, and we can get it here, Chair Alvarado, or at the point that we get into the projects. There's a lot of projects, and we put a brief description and sort of a one sheet together for every project, and we're prepared to go through that, but at the discretion of this committee. If you want us to go through that, we can. If there's specific projects that you'd like us to go through, we can do that. If you want us to go through none of them, we can do that as well. It's to your discretion, Director Alvarado.
I would say just give us a brief synopsis of all the projects.
Okay. Yep. And then if there's any questions that you all have, if we could have them at the end, that would be great.
Yeah, that's fantastic. We'll do questions at the end.
Thank you. Take it away, Susan.
Yes. Okay. So the first is that we try to prioritize and using a scoring system to plan out our capital improvement program. So the 3 criteria that we use, the first one is the essential criteria. So that is if projects, they have regulatory requirements, and if it's for health and safety, or we have joint agreements with other, like the West County Joint Power Authority. The second criteria is the funding, whether the project has already previously been approved and allocated, or if the projects have grants and loans that can help fund the projects. The third criteria is the strategic alignment with our district's strategic plan and goals. And we use a weighted scoring system. So essential criteria gets a higher weight. And the second is the funding criteria. And then the strategic alignment gets the straight weighting. Okay, then the next thing is, this is the layout of the 10-year plan. So as you can see that we have quite a number of projects listed. At the top is our biggest project. That's the comprehensive energy and sustainability upgrade project, because it has like 18 sub-project components. And like what Michael explained, that we try to spread the spending out over the next 10 years. So it will be from FY22 to FY31 with a target spending of $10 to $12 million per year. So this, you can see that at the bottom is the total of all the projected costs. And then the next 3 years, because of the comprehensive energy projects, there's a higher level of spending, and this is what we projected for the next 3 years for the energy project, and this will be the total for the next few years, and then out to the rest of the 7 years. And again, like what Michael explained, that this table shows that the project, the estimated total project cost for each project, and also the existing funding that's in black, and the new funding required that's in red. And then the green is the funding that projects that were previously approved, but new funding still needs to be allocated. So that's the spread out of the entire program. And we also organize the program by the project types. And in the blue shade is the comprehensive energy project, and because of the 18 project components, and that's why it's a pretty large group. Then the orange color is all the projects in the facility program, and the pink is all the projects in the force main program, and green is all the projects in the gravity sewer program, and purple is all the projects in the lift station program. And we have gray, that's the other program, and mainly planning studies. And yellow is the plant process projects. So, and this gives a pie chart of the total 10-year capital improvement program budget and by program. So the green is the largest piece. Oh, I'm sorry. And that's for the plant process, but that also includes the comprehensive energy project. So it's a total of 105.7 million. Then the next one is the facility program, and that's about 26.7 million. And the orange force main is about 9.2 million. And the gravity sewer is about 47.7 million. And the lift station is about 10.4 million. And the other planning studies is 3.8 million. And this, looking at the 5-year CIP by program, and this shows the total number of projects. So we have 32 projects, and the highest is in the gravity sewer pipe. That's about 10 projects. And going by percentages, starting with facilities, that's 12%, and force main is 13%. Gravity sewer pipe is 31%, and lift station is 19%, and other is about 3%, and plant process is 22%. And then we go by the dollars spent, over the next 5 years by program. As you can see, that the total spending for FY22 is projected to be about over $40 million, and FY23 that's about 43 million. And the FY2024, that's about 37 million or about 38 million. And then then after that, it will be, like we planned, be between 10 to 12 million dollars. And the different color blocks shows the different program types. So like the blue blocks is the facilities, and orange is force main, and gray is gravity sewer pipe, and yellow lift station, blue for other, and green for plant process. And the largest block is the comprehensive energy. Okay, so then next we'll start with the individual project description. So the largest project being the our WCW Comprehensive Energy and Sustainability Upgrade Project. So for each one of the projects, we have the same layout that shows the project name and the priority score. So this is a 17, which is pretty high. So most of the first 5-year projects all have a score in between 8 to 17. The project scope, this project, as you have been briefed before, that includes the design and construction of the influent pump station upgrades, improve the grid system, the dual gravity belt thickeners, and the electric blowers and digester construction, sludge dewatering, cogeneration improvements, thermal sludge drying system, and the solar generation at all the lift stations, and LED upgrades at the Hilltop and the wastewater treatment plant, and expansion of the equalization basins. So the project justification is it will reduce the energy consumption and GCG greenhouse gas emissions, and also improve the operational safety and efficiency, and improve the quality of their biosolids produced at the wastewater treatment plant. Currently, Andrew is heading this project. So the total spending, as you can see, that this total that for the next few years, it's like 23.8 to 27.8 to 27.8 million, with a total 79.5 million. And similarly, on the funding side, we have already 2.7 million appropriated, but we still need, all the rest funded for the next few years. So for the other projects, I would just kind of go in general for the facility program. As you can see, so we have the this first one being the CSO building seismic retrofit, and because it's a very old building and needs, we previously did a seismic study, and so these are all the upgrades that needed with that building, and the total project cost is around $2.6 million. So in light of saving time, I'm going to just kind of move a little faster with all these individual projects. The next one is the planned the Vector spoils dump site and relocation. This is to relocate the spoils dump site to closer to the plant. And it's already in construction, and we're finishing up the project, and it's still about $500,000 that will be spent in the next few months. Next one is the Hilltop Facilities Assessment Project, and this is the office building to assess that and improvement needed to make it a better workplace and safer workplace for the staff. So for this project, we have estimated about $7 million total that be spent over the next 2 years. The next project is the outside lighting at the Hilltop office, and that's mainly for the safety reasons. So that will improve the lighting in the parking lot outdoor area. And it's about $250,000 budgeted or planned for. And the force main program, so this is mainly for a number of the force mains that we have problems, with the leakage or causing sewer overflow. So this is a fairly high priority, and it's required by the regional water quality control board. So this Lakeside force main replacement project is about 1,600 linear feet of 8-inch ductile iron pipe, and it's about $1.5 million being budget planned for. And next one is the La Honda force main project, and it's about 180 feet of 6-inch DIP pipe. and it's about $312,000 being estimated project cost. And next one is the Hilltop Ring Force Main project. And this is about 1,000 linear feet of force main. And this is estimated about $1.3 million. And we also have a major force main condition assessment and replacement program that we're planning for that's going to be ongoing for the next few years, because we have 13 force mains. That the first step is to do the assessment of all these force mains, and then the ones that needed to be repaired or replaced, and they will be planned over the next few years for their repair and replacement. Similarly, the gravity sewer main program that we have, we have a very old aging system that needs to be gradually work through the repair and replacement of all the pipes. And so a number of projects that's already underway. That's the Foster Lane Sewer Realignment Project. And this is about 360 feet of 8-inch pipe, $1.3 million. And next one is, this is in North Richmond area. And this group of project is 15,000 linear feet of pipes, and it's mostly in construction, will be completed in FY22. And the total cost is $4.68 million, but we already spent about $2.3 million. And so in FY22, we'll finish up the rest of the project. And the sewer collection system condition assessment, that's also a major component to assess the condition of our existing sewer system, because that will help determine the portions that needs to be repaired and replaced. So we have a $550,000 plan for. Then the next one is Terra Hills Sewer Replacement Program. So this is the next phase of the sewer replacement. And this will be about 4,233 linear feet of gravity sewer lines. And it's about $5.3 million. And this one is the San Pablo Sewer Replacement Project. And it's about 4,465 linear feet of gravity sewer. And it's about $3 million. And this one is the Lower San Pablo Sewer Replacement. And it's 5,138 linear feet of sewer pipe. And the total cost is estimated at $3.4 million. Next one is the El Sobrante Sewer Replacement. And this is 5,122 linear feet of gravity sewer. And it's about $1.69 million. And this is another group of sewer project. And because we foresee sewer replacement similar to force main replacement is going to be ongoing. So we have planned to budget around $5 million each year for the continuous sewer replacement of all our sewer system throughout the district. And this is the wastewater treatment plant, the effluent pipe cathodic protection upgrade. This is a joint project with the West County Authority group. So the total project cost is our cost share is about 35% of the total project cost. So the total project cost for us is about $432,000. The La Paloma Odor Mitigation project, that project we have $3.1 million appropriated, and currently we're doing the feasibility study. So it's being $100,000 is being planned for FY22. The lift station program. So we have this group of lift station is already being under construction, doing all mainly electrical, mechanical, and structural upgrades. And the total project cost is about $6.5 million, and we already spent about $5 million. So we have about $1.6 million planned for FY22. And the next group of lift station, the first one is the Avila lift station, and that project is estimated at about $413,000 cost. Next one is the Terra Hills lift station, and this one has a total estimated cost about $1.9 million. And the La Honda lift station, the total cost is estimated at $354,000. This one is the Carriage Hills lift station upgrade, and the total cost is estimated at $163,000. We also have planned for the lift station SCADA communication upgrade. So this will be better communicated with our SCADA control center at the plant. And the total cost is estimated about $100,000. Other programs, so this is mainly planning studies. Planning studies will be ongoing, continuous, because these will be a lot of the feasibility studies or master plan study or the climate action plans study. The plan process program, we have a number of projects. This WCA Dechlorination facility upgrade. This is another joint project with WCA, and the total estimated cost is for our share is $1.757 million. The wastewater treatment plant effluent valve replacement, that's the estimated at $1.2 million. And the effluent plant effluent electrical system upgrades, that's estimated at $1 million. And there's also the joint outfall repairs. That's another joint project with WCA, and our share is $432,000. There's a plant at the wastewater treatment plant, the caustic tank replacement project, and that's estimated at $1.175 million. But in FY22, 26 will be mainly doing the planning and design. So that's why these within the next 5 years, the expenditure will be around $235,000. The next one is at the plan, the sea level rise protection. And this is on the meeting agenda coming up next. And currently we have a grant in the amount of $687,000. So we'll be doing a study for this project. So that's it. That's all the projects that we have in the program. Quick overview of all of them. Is there any questions or comments?
Sorry, I think I was on mute. Director Weiner, any questions or comments?
My first comments is, whew, whoa, awesome. That's my
Thank you.
first comment.
Thank you.
This is, well, this is a lot of great work. And also overwhelming in the amount of work that the district has tasked itself with. But obviously a lot of thought and effort was put into the planning of the next 10 years. Pretty amazing. I'd love to get a copy of this so I can bathe in all the data, so I can understand, you know, the move, how we're going to move this giant thing forward. It's pretty great. I did have a couple questions. So you have a 10-year plan, and you have the tail end. You have increased spending on your average of 10-year going out. So that brought to mind, did you, in the dollar sense, are you planning this all in today's dollars, or have you calculated inflation into your estimates as you go out year after year?
Yeah, Okay, if I may address this. Our estimate right now is in today's dollar. However, I know Justin, he has a rate study, and this whole entire program is also incorporated in that rate study. And in that program, they do have a inflation factor or cost of living adjustment factor incorporated in that program. So for the the whole financial projection, the inflation is adjusted, so that way for our financial projection and rate, well, how much we need to increase our rate in order to make our revenue and spending all meet and work out, so that's all accounted for.
And yeah, thank you. That is, yeah, that answers that question. I was just wondering how we're going to deal with inflation, which we don't have any, but it seems to be pretty extensive. Those are my two questions. I really overwhelmed. This spreadsheet is great. Really gives an idea of the future and the present. And the one that colors by project is also really great. So I'd love to get all this information and all the different projects. I did have one thought, and that's there's more than one odor containment project. And since the ratepayers elect me, their concern is more with the odor than with the pipes. I'm kind of concerned that these have been put so far out into the future. And that obviously is because of the weighted, your weighted estimate of the way you weight the project importance. They seem to be weighted by engineering concerns and financial concerns, which is, of course, the business of the district. But the human concerns need to be actually factored into. So that would be my only critique of your plan so far. And it's, yeah, our district has gone a long way. It really has. This is an example of how far we've come. Thank you very much.
I'd like to maybe respond to the last comment that you made, Director Weiner. I think it's a great point, and we thought about that as we were doing our planning. One of the things that is a human concern that is factored into here is illicit discharges, and a huge part of that has to do with correcting our gravity system, which has been ignored for so long. So you'll see huge chunks of money going into our gravity system. And in order to keep our capital plan down to something that we felt like we could really deliver on, we had to push some of those odor studies out. It doesn't mean that we're not addressing things as we can. So if we're replacing a line, for instance, and there's the ability to do something about odors in that area, we are looking into that. But addressing these lines that are compromised will in some ways address the odors in some of the areas, because there won't be any place for the odor to get out of the pipe. So just sort of wanted to make that point as we were talking about it.
All right. Well,
Any follow-up?
Overall
Director
positive.
Weiner?
I say overall, great work.
Okay,
Thank you.
so
Thank
much.
you. Yes, and we are putting together a report that will include all the information that we presented today. So that will be available for distribution to all the directors.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. I have no questions, but I do have several comments. Like Director Weiner, I am wowed by the enormity of what we are attempting to accomplish and planning to accomplish. I think it's indicative of the good or great work that is being done by our general manager and her staff. Especially the planning people like Michael and the new person who I'm sad to say we haven't met, and I guess she's been with us 6 months. but this is the circumstances of COVID. You know, we've had board meetings where people can show up and we can introduce people. That would be great, like we normally do. And hopefully there's a light at the end of the tunnel coming that way. I too, like Director Weiner, would like to see more data or information given to the board because this is a 5-member board. So as we are getting the privilege of getting this information, it'd be nice for everyone to have it. And I'm sure it's forthcoming, like you guys say it is. So those are my comments. I want to say great work again. And I think the board made the absolute smart decision putting us in the direction where we're going now by choosing a general manager that had been with us for a long time and is obviously doing her job the way it needs to be done. So next item, please.
Just really quickly, if you don't mind, Director Alvarado, this will go to the board. We're planning on taking this same presentation to the board June 2nd. It'll be parsed down a bit, so it's not as long. We wanted to come here and give you all a more detailed view into the plan, and then we'll be taking this to the board, requesting adoption of this plan. I think it's at the 6-2 meeting, so it will, the entire board will see it.
Okay, thank you very much, Mike. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Next item, please.
Thank you. Next item, agenda item 2, receive update on fog and wipes campaign.
Okay, who's taking this item?
That would be me, Joe. This is Joe Neugebauer from the Environmental Services Division. I wanted to give this committee a quick little preview on a larger presentation that we're going to give to the board meeting on the 19th next week. And that presentation is going to be in collaboration with Ms. Heidi Sanborn, who's the director of the National Stewardship Action Council. And that's one of the things that they're doing right now is they're involved in some legislation around wipes labeling. So, you know, how when you buy these so-called flushable wipes, it says flushable on the package. Well, there's legislation that's going around now that's going to require them to label them as non-flushable. So that's going to be a big part of this presentation. But I thought that I could give you a preview right now as to the kind of the background of the problem surrounding fog and wipes. So I'm going to share my screen here. I have some slides. Okay. Let me try to get in slideshow mode. Okay. So yeah, our wipes clog pipes program. So you see this this logo right here. That's actually a logo that was designed by CASA, and we've used that logo so far in our campaign about fog and wipes, mainly wipes, of course, over the past couple of years on our social media and website. So why have a wipes program? Why do we try to control what's going on with wipes? Well, first of all, they've been one of the major causes of sanitary sewer overflows over the past several years. We just had a really awesome presentation from IMP about some of the capital programs and pipe replacements and things like that going on. And this is the other side of it, where we're having also illicit discharges and sanitary sewer overflows, mainly because of these non-flushable products that are clogging up our sewers. So this is a way to attack that problem. But our permit also requires us to have a public outreach program that targets pollutants of concern. And non-flushable products are considered one of those pollutants. So the wipes manufacturers, as I mentioned, have also misled consumers by labeling these products as flushable. So there's a lot of confusion out there about how you dispose of these products. And then finally, a lot of them are made from synthetic plastic fibers. So microplastics is becoming a larger and larger issue. It's not something that we're regulated to sample for or control right now, but in the future that could definitely be a possibility. So these things are getting into the treatment plant, they're passing through the treatment plant, and that's a huge problem. So I'll warn you, some of these pictures are not for the faint of heart, but I think it illustrates exactly what we're talking about here, what happens when wipes get into the sewers. You can see here, this is a sanitary sewer overflow on the left from a few years ago. I believe it was right outside the Richmond High School. And they pulled all of this huge mound of basically wipes that caused an overflow in this area. You can see on the right what it looked like inside the manhole as they're pulling all this stuff out. So you can imagine not just the environmental problems that come along with this, but a huge amount of staff time and resources go into trying to mitigate these problems caused by wipes. And then if they make it through the collection system, they end up at the treatment plant. You think, well, that's no problem. Well, it is a problem. This is a picture that was taken by one of our operations supervisors after they dewatered one of our primary clarifiers and just found a massive load of these wipes that had settled out. And the reason why they took this clarifier down is because they were sensing some drag on those collector arms at the bottom of the clarifier, and it was causing some issues. And then they found out why, because these things are still making it into the treatment plant and possibly causing wear and tear on our equipment. And this is what was pulled out of our digesters. So even if they make it through the treatment plant, get collected by the collection units in the primary clarifiers, they end up in the digesters. So when our digesters got taken out of service, the folks that were cleaning it found these massive amounts of wipe material inside the digesters. So I've had an email from one of them that was forwarded to me by Aaron Weiner. The folks that did the cleaning said that this was one of, if not the worst problem of wipes that they had ever seen in digesters in their 20-something years of doing this work. So it was a pretty eye-opening situation. So I'll talk a little bit about what we've done in the past around wipes. Mentioned our public outreach program. Most of that was talked about during plant tours. So we have lots of different schools in the area. Several of them bring classes to the plant where we give them a tour of the plant. But part of that is also a discussion in the break room or the classroom about what happens to wipes when they go down the drain. We would have two beakers and on stir plates, and we would add toilet paper to one and wipes to the other. And as we're talking, you can see the toilet paper just disintegrates, but the wipes don't. And so that kind of thing, it shows kids why they're not flushable. And it's a great segment of the population to get those messages too, because kids love to tell their parents what they're doing wrong. So it's we got a lot of good advocates from our plant tours with a lot of the students that would come. We also go to a lot of community events. Of course, we haven't done that over the past year and a half or so because of COVID, but we do presentations at community events. We go to Rotary Club meetings. So those community group presentations, we reach out to them, they reach out to us. We also provide information on our newsletter that's available on our website, The Lateral, which I'll show you an example of that here in a minute. We also have banners along the top of our website, scrolling banners that have focused on that wipes, clog pipes message. And then our social media posts. We've had several social media posts on our Facebook page that direct people about not flushing their wipes down the drain. And then we have other materials like door hangers that we will go out to these different areas of the community that have had problems with backups and sanitary sewer overflows, and literally put these things right on their door that give them an alert that there is flushed trash, which of course includes wipes, cotton swabs, anything that people tend to flush that they shouldn't flush, instructs them not to do that and tells them how to handle those things. So we also have letters that we send to residents or commercial users. So if we, again, in areas where we see backups and overflows, we can actually directly send them a very detailed letter about what we found in the pipes. So here's some examples of some of those things. On the left here, this was an article that was posted in the Lateral. It was back in, I believe, September of last year, 2020, where this little article appeared in our newsletter. These are some of the graphics that we've used in our social media posts and on the website. Again, it's the wipes, clogged pipes theme from CASA. And these are some of the door hangers on the left. You can see, again, the flush trash alert. It's very eye-catching, lots of very colorful, and I think displays that whole situation here with the clog really well, and gives some information down here about who to call or where to go for more information. And then this was one of our Facebook posts here on the right. Again, the wipes, clogged pipes. And then on the left, this is a little page of our activity book that we have that we give out to students that attend the plant tours. We'll give them out at our community outreach events. It's kind of a cool little word search here. Deals with all these different, again, all the different products that people tend to flush that they shouldn't flush, and just get them thinking about that more. And then this is a letter from our inspector, Lynna Allen, who wrote this letter to residents that live in our service area if there was things found in the pipes. And also we've sent similar letters out to a couple of our commercial users. We had a sanitary sewer overflow downstream of a health center. So she was able to go out and talk to them and send a letter. So now, one of the things that we've been thinking of doing, especially since COVID, is trying to really hit our social media with these messages a lot harder, because we're not able to do the events or the plant tours right now. So we've gone into contract. Well, we're already in contract with CV Strategies, but we've been talking about developing a kind of a new wipes, clogged pipes, and fog community outreach campaign. And so what this is going to involve is we're going to create a brand, a new branding that's uniquely West County wastewater. And this brand is going to focus on designing a few short videos. There's some ideas going around now that we're in development on, and some logos. I wish I could share some of those with you today, but we haven't quite dialed them in just yet. But as soon as we do, we'll definitely share those with the board as well. So these videos will be available on media platforms via ads. So whenever you see an ad pop up on Instagram or Facebook or YouTube, it'll be targeted to residents within our service area, where we can actually have them watch it, and they can click on it, or maybe just a quick little 15-second shot of it, and we can track that. We can see how many impressions that we made and see if that's making a difference. So rather than just relying on people coming directly to our Facebook page or our website, we're going to them with these digital ads. And then, of course, that will link them to our social media and our website to drive more traffic. We're going to revise some of our outreach materials as well. So we'll have a new look to our door hangers and the little giveaways that we have at our events once we're able to go back to doing events again. And we're hoping that all of this is going to really be able to roll out heavily before or during Pollution Prevention Week, which is in September of this year. So we have some time, and I think we're on schedule for that. So like I said, we'll be giving more updates to the board as these things continue to develop. And just real quick, I just wanted to talk a little bit about some of I mentioned at the beginning, the legislation that's out right now with regards to wipes labeling. BAPPG has been involved in this for many years. We're members of BAPPG. It's a BACWA committee, and I'm one of the vice chairs right now, have been for a few years. So there's been lots of regional outreach campaigns that have been happening over the years. They've done digital ads through the Google platforms. They've released press releases about wipes that have been picked up by major newspapers throughout the Bay Area. Central San developed a really nice video that was available on YouTube. So our residents have been getting these messages on a regional basis through BAPPG. And we've also given our support to Assembly Bill 818, which is that wipes packaging labeling that's going to require all these manufacturers to label these products as not flushable instead of flushable. And we also, through BAPPG, provide funding to the National Stewardship Action Council, who we'll hear from Ms. Heidi Sanborn later next week about the work that they're doing. So thank you for allowing me to give this update today, and I appreciate your time.
Okay, hold there 1 second. Director Weiner, any questions on the presentation?
No, it's very heartening to see our efforts in this aspect and how holistic they are. We're attacking this at a political level, at a customer level, at a community level, at a Bay Area level. It's great work, and glad to see it. And it's also part of a nationwide move to make manufacturers more responsible for the stuff that they put in sewers. I'm just so pleased to see that we're spearheading the effort in our area. Thank you very much, Joe, for all you do.
Thank you.
Thank you, Director Weiner. Joe, thanks a lot for the presentation. I appreciate that. If there's nothing else, we'll go on to the next item, please.
Sorry, Chair Alvarado, may I just make one quick note? I just wanted to mention.
Go right ahead.
I've been working with Joe a little bit on this. I just wanted to mention that at the board meeting next week, in connection with the work that also BAPPG and Joe has done, we will be asking the board to support the legislation. Well, we'll have Heidi Sanborn coming to talk about the circular economy, which is exactly what Director Weiner was just talking about, making manufacturers responsible for the products they create. We'll also be asking the board to support AB 818, which is this labeling legislation that Joe was talking about, and we'll also be soliciting the board for independent support for the National Stewardship Action Council. So I just wanted to put that on your radar that BAPPG is also already supporting it generally, but we will be asking the board to have West County individually support this, and that's in keeping with a lot of the sentiments we've heard from the board members in connection with how important this issue is, and obviously how significant it impacts our operations. So I just wanted, again, just highlight that for the two of you.
Thank you, Claire. Appreciate that. All right, next item, please.
Next item, agenda item 3, living levy. Receive update on living levy, RFP, and community engagement.
Okay, so who's going to take this one on?
Okay, Chair Alvarado, that would be me.
All right, let's try and make it as brief as possible, okay?
This time, what am I referring to? Okay, so we'll be brief. We'll show you a lot of pictures.
Yeah, that's what we like to see.
Are we up?
Actually,
Is somebody seeing the screen?
This presentation was sent to us beforehand, so
That's correct.
I had a chance to review this thoroughly. So, but go ahead, give us an overview.
We'll just go through quickly with the, what the project is about and its status, et cetera. So, in the effort to move forward, there's the aerial view all the way from Point San Pablo over to Point Pinole, and this is the area of the study. There we are out in front of the treatment plant at King Tide last year. Wow, I guess it would have been maybe even the year before. It's confusing with COVID, what year we're in.
Yeah.
And then just another shot, showing that the uses, the Bay Trail, the treatment plant, and on important areas is this right up in here, the landfill loop trailhead. As part of this project, we're going to be looking at ways to potentially improve the trail access. And this shows the location where the West County wastewater treatment plant is relative to the rest of the facilities along the waterfront. And then the next slide says, uh-oh, sea level's coming up. And if we don't do something, we're gonna flood our plant. And that's gonna be a problem. And so what do we want to do about it? Well, we want to take a look and we want to study this whole area, about 5 mile stretch. And you see right in the center of that is us, where we're located. And so we have a grant from, well, here, let me just go through a couple of photos. I'll get to that.
Sure.
I'm trying to go quickly, but so
No problem.
The West County facility again, and this is to show that this 0.65 miles and about 300 feet wide, this is the section directly in front of the treatment plant, primarily on land that we own, and we would have some control, obviously have control over. I say some control because so much any work that would be out there in the wetlands is heavily controlled by the regulators. So while we may own it, we don't really have many rights to do much. So that's going to be a big part of this, is the permitting process and getting clearance from regulators to actually place fill into the bay, which is something since the BCDC, the Bay Conservation Development Commission, came into existence back in, I believe, the 1970s. There's been the effort to try not to put any fill into the bay. And we're going to say, yes, we want to put fill into the bay to help protect it. So it seems counterintuitive, and the regulators are going to have to work on that and see how they can figure out how to permit us. So a quick status is we got a grant from the San Francisco Bay Restoration Authority, a $644,000 grant with some matching funds from West County Wastewater. We submitted a work program. We went out with a request for proposals for a prime consultant, and we'll be coming to the board for consideration of that contract on May 19th. And then we will initiate the work, the planning work, which is two different options. And that one is to do the planning work all along that 5 mile stretch, and the other option is then develop, conceptual plans for actual construction, which in all likelihood will be just that 0.65 mile section that I showed you briefly a moment ago in front of the treatment plant. But the grant from the Restoration Authority is very interested, and the Restoration Authority and our other funders are very interested in the collaborative approach and taking a look at the options all along the North Richmond waterfront. So we're going to make sure that we're spending a good portion of those planning dollars on studying the entirety of the 5 mile stretch. But then when we get into the details of actually creating some kind of conceptual design, like I said, at this stage, it's likely that it will be the section in front of the treatment plant, where we'll be coordinating with a smaller subset of property owners. And we could potentially have a pilot project demonstrating how this could work throughout the rest of the North Richmond waterfront area. And that's sort of the approach that we're taking. And we'll bring that to the board and talk a little bit about that next week. In-kind contributions, that's our staff. There's a lot of different stakeholders that have been attending our regular stakeholder meetings along the North Richmond waterfront. And that's what this, and I'll just run through these real quickly then, Chair Alvarado, in effort to move along. That there was a lot of work done by a number of the different groups, the Alliance. We came up back in 16, 17, the phase one, taking a look at the upland and then applying these methodologies for resilient sea level opportunities focus. And this is how we got to being able to get the grant. There was a lot of really good work that preceded me on with the community and through this resilient by design process that helps put us in a position to be eligible for these grant funds. And I'm happy to slow down and stop at any of these, but I'm just scrolling through them quickly so you can get the sense. And there's the happy group out there at the King Tides. And this group has been continuing to meet and will continue to meet, because it's going to be more, it's about more than just the work directly in front of our treatment plant. It's part of our collaboration and trying to work with the rest of the community and stakeholders in the area, which will be an ongoing challenge. As some will commit and then pull out. Chevron is not an active member at the moment, but they're monitoring And that's kind of what we expect, is that there'll be these fits and starts with trying to get property owners engaged and working with us, which is why I think what will happen is we'll go through this study phase along the whole 5 miles and then focus in on some construction in closer to our plant, and then hopefully be able to expand from there. And there's the shortened version, Chair Alvarado.
All right, thank you, Andrew. Director Weiner, questions, comments?
First of all, Andrew, thanks. Finally clarifying for me how this all fits together. I've been attending all the meetings and watching all the things whiz by and all of the discussion back and forth, but I never really understood basically how we're going to focus this and plan this and what each phase would be. And I appreciate this report because now I understand what we're doing. The other question I have is, did the how do you feel about the landfill? And what was the name of the company that is now running the landfill or owns Republic? What did they did mention at the last meeting their name? I missed it.
I'd have to go back and see what how they've broke. It's still part of Republic. It's some subsidiary that they call themselves specific for the landfill. I'll have to check what that is, but I'm not sure what your question is regarding.
No, I was just wondering, they at the last meeting, they were wondering about getting some of the grant money.
Yes.
And I was wondering that doesn't seem like how this is all playing out. So just wondered how that's going.
Well, like I said, I'm glad that when we ran through the slides here, you said that it looks clear and there's a real focus and we know where we're going. I would like to think that we are, but it's an iterative process in that we do have a plan for moving forward, but there's going to be a lot of this kind of work with the property owners to really figure out how we make this work. And the example with the landfill is, I think they had some confusion in that we were getting a grant here from the Restoration Authority, and that somehow there'd be some money potentially from some of these grants coming directly to the landfill as well to do some of their work. And most of these grants that we're going to be getting through the state agencies, the funding, the private entities aren't going to be seeing those dollars. So I think they were a little disappointed. I think that they saw an opportunity here that there could be some funding for them, and there can be, and that's part of what we're going to have to try to work on, is how we can coordinate with them. For example, on the Bay Trail portion, the connections over there, that's some funding that we could get in some future grants that could go help with the construction. Having that as part of our project would make the project more attractive to some of the state and federal funders. So there's a whole bunch of different things that we have to work on like that with the property owners. But I think that what they were seeing this a little bit differently, but they're not going to go away. They're going to work with us, but they're not going to get a whole bunch of state money to raise their levies around the landfill.
Thank you. Appreciate that. And appreciate all your work on this. This is pretty exciting also. This is like the district taking the lead and bringing consciousness to sea level rise, and it will benefit the community in the long run big time. So thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
Anything further, Director Weiner?
That's it. Thank you for the time.
Thank you. Okay, Andrew, that's a great presentation. Like I said, I kind of went over it thoroughly because it was part of the package. So I want to thank you for that. I want to thank you for the follow-up today. And, I echo Director Weiner. I think we're moving in the right direction here. And I hear your frustration on your part that sometimes not quick enough, but
yeah,
at least we know we're going in the right direction.
It's the reality of this kind of a project, and that we just have to recognize that there will be the starts and the stops, and it'll come into more focus as we
Right.
continue the process. But exactly how we get there is not entirely clear. But that doesn't mean we don't keep going.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. And that's half the battle sometimes. All right. Anything else, Andrew?
No, sir.
Okay. Thank you very much. Next item, please.
Item 4, reports on issues or matters pertaining to the work of the committee.
Okay. Anything from staff on this? Hearing none. Director Weiner?
No, this is more than I can deal with at any one given time. Thank you guys so much for all the information.
Sounds good. I feel the same. It was a very, very fruitful, informative meeting. Next item, please.
Next item, adjournment.
Oh boy, my favorite part. Thank you, everyone. Great work.
Thank you.
Great
All right.
meeting.
Thank you.
Keep
Thank
it
you
up.
all. Have a
Thank
great
you.
day.
Bye-bye.
We'll see y'all